Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone joining. Welcome to our Climate and Clean Air Coalition Cooling Hub meeting. It's the first CCAC Cooling Hub meeting of the year. And I appreciate that some people are still on their way to join or still connecting. So maybe while people are still connecting, I'll also invite everyone who are already online to say hello in the chat, introduce yourself, your name, your organization, and where you are connecting from, um, if that's all right. Okay. Thank you for being the very first one, Chaipur from Cambodia. So others are also welcome to say hello. And then also, like, we have a very packed agenda for this hour. It's very ambitious. So for those having questions, please feel free to just type them either in the chat or in the Q&A function. If we won't have much time for discussion, we can respond through the Q&A or through chat. And if we have some time, then we can, of course, have our presenters um, respond. Okay, without further delaying, I would like to invite one of our co-leads in the Cooling Hub, Makoto Kato from Japan, to give the opening remarks. Over to you, Makoto.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Actually, good night from Tokyo. Makoto Kato from the Overseas Environmental Cooperation Center, Japan. I am speaking on behalf of my colleagues. Thank you very much for your time. I think this is a very meaningful opportunity for us to move forward. As you are aware that 2025 was one of the warmest year. We somehow surpassed like 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level. This is quite alarming. And I think of the figures are not abstract statistics. Well, this reflects our urgent situation. And I think that the heat is also giving us a devastating impact in not only the mitigation but also climate change adaptation. So I think this is where we are now. But I think also last year we have had fantastic progress of our activities for including our focuses of life cycle refrigerant management, stop environmental dumping, and energy efficiency. And I think this year I would like to stress we are further strengthening our activities. And I think this year we are actually shifting decisively from negotiation to implementation in many areas of our work. Today we are listening to you, and we're expecting your inputs to our very important activities of year 2026 under the Cooling Hub. And also we are expecting for 10th anniversary of Kigali Amendment. This is going to be 10th year since the Kigali, so that for us, well, this is a very special year. And I think we are going to deliver something very tangible with your wisdom, with your cooperative spirit. And then I think from pilot project, what we're going to bring to national system, from incremental progress to transformative change, etc. So that this is how things brought to this meeting today. So today we have 1 hour with a very packed agenda, but I hope we're going to have a very fruitful discussion. So with this, I would like to return my microphone to you, Denise. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Makoto-san. I will now be sharing the slides and let me know if there are any issues in terms of how it looks. But I'll just quickly go through what we will be talking about today. So we'll just go over what is planned for the year in terms of activities, and then we'll also be looking at sharing the progress in three of the projects that are supported by the CCAC. Plus, we will also cover some short announcements from our partners from the Ozone Secretariat and Cool Coalition on the 10th anniversary celebration of Kigali, as well as the Cool Champions Initiative. So that was Makoto that had just spoke. Just to remind you, the other co-lead is Miruza. She is traveling at the moment. And the cooling hub, really the work of the CCAC in the cooling hub is to complement implementation of the Kigali Amendment on HFC phase down. So I'm not going to read each of these together, but we'll be sharing the slides afterwards so that you can have more look. And as mentioned, we are looking at three priorities, which are LRM, preventing environmental dumping of cooling appliances, and promoting cooling efficiency. Last year, we had a number of regional and global workshops looking at LRM and as well as talking about preventing dumping in many of the network meetings as well as other Montreal Protocol events. And we've had some progress as well in the discussion on dumping. And later on, there will be a presentation as well by the market study that was done. And then in terms of cooling efficiency, we are supporting some projects in three countries in Africa as well as in Brazil on energy efficiency. What we're planning to do this year, well, we are starting with the virtual cooling hub meeting. Next month, we're also planning to be at the China Refrigeration Expo in Beijing. This is happening at the same time as the Sustainable Cooling event of UNIDO in Vienna. Some of you might be there. Then we are also proposing to collaborate with Ozone Action in their thematic workshop on LRM. That's going to be in May in Indonesia. And then also since the lack market study for room air conditioners will be presented at the Latin America Network Meeting of Ozone Officers also in May. Then towards it's a busy May on the 18th and 20 the week of 18th to 22nd of May, the Climate and Clean Air Coalition will be organizing its annual meeting in Mexico City, and there we will have some cooling sessions as well as further dissemination of the report on dumping in LAC. In July, we will have the OEWG as well as in Kigali, the MOP, and we are expecting to organize some side events there to be discussed and open for ideas for collaboration. Finally, for LRM as well, I know that many of you have been waiting. We are kind of in the final stages, just on the design and layout, which usually takes the longest time maybe in the UN world. But we are soon to be releasing the practical guide for developing countries on developing national action plans and policies on ODS and HFC banks management. For webinar and virtual meeting ideas, aside from today, as as opportunities come, we will be organizing webinars on some of the CCAC projects. We're also looking at webinars on financing LRM, harmonizing Article 7, MLF, country program reporting, and GHG inventories. And then also other topics as suggested by partners, such as those like high impact sectors like supermarkets and mobile air conditioning. So open for collaboration and consideration. Thank you very much. That concludes my presentation on the work plan. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And in the meantime, I think we will jump to the discussion on the progress in CCAC projects. And we will begin with a presentation by IGSD and CLASP. So Ana Maria Carreño and Tad Ferris from CLASP and IGSD respectively, to share with you the progress on the progress on the project titled Pathways to Stop Environmental Dumping of Climate Harming Room Air Conditioners for Latin America, the Caribbean, and beyond. Over to you, Ana Maria.
Thank you, Denise. And will you be showing the slides on our behalf, or would you like me to?
Sorry, I actually switched the I was sharing it, but didn't share correctly. So here it is.
Thank you. Yeah, now we can see it. Good day, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you all today. As Denise mentioned, we will be sharing the work that we have been doing together, CLASP by GSD, and in partnership with the Climate and Cleaner Coalition, on the research and pathways to stop environmental dumping of climate-harming room air conditioners. If we can go to the next slide. This is the third report that we do together, building the evidence base on the practice of environmental dumping. And at this time, we had a look at the markets in Latin America and the Caribbean. We look at 11 countries that are representative of countries that manufacture and produce room air conditioners, countries that import room air conditioners, and you see different sizes represented there as well. And our goal with this research was to really assess the extent of environmental dumping in the region. And we also look at the impacts of environmental dumping in affordability and access to cooling in the region. If we can go to the next slide, just to give you some background on what we mean by environmental dumping. It's the export of new cooling technology that doesn't comply with standards, meaning efficiency or safety standards in the countries of origin, and that also use refrigerants that are obsolete. And through this diagram, maybe we can explain a little bit how that happens. What are the pathways for environmental dumping? In general, we have markets that have very strong efficiency policies, and those are protected markets where there are large manufacturing bases for cooling equipment, and of course they have the capacity to produce high efficiency cooling technology. The practice of environmental dumping means some of these high efficiency manufacturing bases are exporting low efficiency room air conditioners with obsolete refrigerants to unprotected markets. That means markets that don't have efficiency policies or that have weak standards as well. When we talk about export, we are talking about export of technology, but also export of technology that is manufactured in these unprotected markets by multinationals that have the know-how to produce high efficiency equipment. And the impact of that is markets that have, lack access to efficient products, lack access to climate-friendly refrigerants as well, with, of course, the results of, high bills for consumers, for governments that are not able to comply with, climate commitments or Kigali Amendment commitments. And what we are seeing now is that this is a widespread practice across the global south. The research that we conducted in this study looks at Latin America, but we also have similar findings in Southeast Asia and Africa as well. If we can go to the next slide, just to highlight some of the main findings of this research. What we saw is that in Latin America, 44% of new equipment constitutes environmental dumping. And again, this is equipment that is either imported by multinational companies, is locally produced in the region by multinational companies, or is imported by local companies. Again, all of this equipment is considered substandard, low efficiency has refrigerants that have high global warming potential. Over a third of the new room air conditioner equipment contains obsolete refrigerants. If we go to the next slide, we also highlighted some of the success stories of countries in the region that have either improved efficiency standards or that have addressed refrigerant policies that actually prevent environmental dumping. And this is excellent, because we can also share with other countries in the region what are the pathways for achieving these results and these important outcomes. Brazil is one of the countries that started working on efficiency policies for air conditioners in 2020. They updated the efficiency label, they updated efficiency standards with a new seasonal metric that allows to measure impact of the more efficient inverter technologies in a better way. And what we saw was a significant improvement of the efficiency of air conditioners in the market. The inverter market share, which is the most efficient technology, grew from 30% to 65% in 2023. This year, the policy also is going to be revised again. There is a new policy that enters into force. And with that, we expect that all the Brazilian market is going to shift to inverter technology. Again, this is at no impact to consumers and no impact to local manufacturing. Brazil is one of the countries in the region that produces most of the equipment it's used in the country, and manufacturers are now able to manufacture this cooling equipment that complies with the high efficiency requirements. And if we look to the next slide, we also wanted to highlight a case study of a country that has implemented very ambitious, interventions to transition the market to low GWP refrigerants. And this is Grenada. They started working on this since 2005, so many years laying the groundwork for a transition to low GWP refrigerants, addressing technical barriers, economical barriers, policy barriers as well. They conducted a major effort in doing capacity building and training for installers and technicians in order to manage safely and properly the flammable refrigerants. They improved national codes for refrigerant handling, a lot of awareness campaigns, eliminating import duties for R290, which is, of course, removing some of the economic barriers as well. And that means that now Grenada is one of the few countries with a large market share of R290 room ACs. We saw that it was 10% in 2023. We expect that it's going to be 65% in 2028. So this shows, a pathway again for policies and practices that prevent environmental dumping from room air conditioners that use high GWP refrigerants. Next slide, please. We also wanted to highlight what are the solutions. And again, we see that, there are many stakeholders that can take action to stop environmental dumping. So this is a shared responsibility. And in the report, we highlight some of the actions by policymakers in the region related to, policies and other interventions to really promote the use of efficient equipment. We also highlight actions by exporting countries that can align exports with their own domestic market requirements, by the private sector, especially those that are exporting to the region, that can align with corporate social responsibility commitments, and support governments that are interested in improving efficiency and getting rid of obsolete refrigerants. And then, of course, Montreal Protocol that can also support through funding for preventative measures as well. So what we've done, this research was completed last year. If we can go to the next slide, the report is out. I provided the link here, and I'm sure Denise can share the report with all of you as well. We conducted a side event at the MOB last year where we shared some preliminary findings with the participants of the MOB. Denise also mentioned there's going to be a meeting in Paraguay with the Latin American ozone officers where we hope to share some of the results. And there's going to be a training during the CCAC annual conference in May as well. So those of you that will be there, we'll be happy to welcome you. I believe this is the last slide, but let me hand it over to my colleague and partner here, Tad, from IGSD, for some last remarks.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everyone. Many of you have been following this for a long time, but as Makoto-san said, this is also about a shift from negotiation to implementation. We're talking really here about equitable implementation and doing what we can to transition markets better, to avoid creating markets for lemons, or to address the issue where you have markets for lemons and more advanced next-gen technology cannot enter that market as a result. The term dumping has been used for a long time. Indeed, was A5 countries that coined this term during the CFC transition to refer to this phenomenon. But really right now, what we're doing is focusing on this issue to help transition, to provide opportunities for new technology to enter that market and to help everyone become more resilient in the future. We have a guide which tracks this issue from the early days to current, sort of old era and modern era. And it shows you a lot of these developments, the reference materials, etc., to help us tackle this problem, because it's also not only shared responsibility between importing and exporting countries that can resolve this, it's also of all of our minds together. This is a global issue that is not just in the cooling space, though we feel that very acutely in our warming world, but it's also a phenomenon seen in other areas, such as with heavy duty vehicles, such as clothing and medicines, etc. We can't export that burden from our more developed economies to those who are most vulnerable. But with that, we're here for questions, and I thank you all.
Thank you so much, Tad. Yes, indeed. There's a lot to talk about, but again, if you have any questions for Anna Maria and Tad, please put them in the chat. And later on, if we have time, we can have a quick discussion. So our next project that will let you know about the progress is our project on mobile air conditioning. So we are doing pilot demonstrations for carbon dioxide and R290 in China and India, respectively. And so that's very exciting. I'm very excited about this project. And we have also a very exciting person to share with us the project, Yunri Zhou from UNIDO. Yunri, I will share your screen for you.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I'm so happy to have this opportunity to give all of you a brief introduction regarding the progress of the pilot project to promote the hydrocarbon refrigerants in the mobile air conditioner sector in China and India. If you can go to the next slide, please. Actually, you know that in the mobile air conditioner sector, HFC 134A are still the dominant refrigerant in both China and India, two biggest Article 5 countries in the world. And also HFO, due to this byproduct, they have a lot of concern regarding their safety issues, but also for the environment as an alternative technology which is used in the North America and Japan and other parts of the world. So therefore, we need to find another solutions for the Article 5 countries to replace HFCs in their market sector. However, as I mentioned, that there are still not consensus in the industry for their China and also India. And also for some of the alternative refrigerants, even not commercially available in these two countries, but the safety concern also is a big constraint for the promotion of these alternative technologies. And also the detailed industrial design also not quite widely used in these two countries. So therefore, in order to address those challenges, we developed this project with the 3 outcomes, including one pilot project to develop our CO2-based mobile air conditioner system for electronic vehicle in China. Outcome 2 is a pilot project to develop R290-based air conditioner systems in India. Outcome 3 is to disseminate experience and gain from this project with other countries. Next slide, please. So the implementation structure of this project is also is clear. We really appreciate that CCAC is a donor of the project, and UNIDO is very honored to be the implementing agency for the project design and also implementation. We also have the National Executing Agency, FECO, Foreign Economic Cooperation Office, under the Ministry of Ecology and Environment for the implementation of the outcome one. And also we have the Tata Motor. This is the biggest local car manufacturing in India for the implementation of the outcome two. And also we have the other potential stakeholders, including ICSD and MAX and also SIAM for the implementation of outcomes three. Yeah. Next slide, please. And for the outcome one, there are three key deliveries, including that we will finalize one design specifications for the development of the prototype of the CO2-based air conditioner system for China. And then based on these design specifications, we will design a prototype for the mobile air conditioner sector for electronic vehicle and to do their test, road tests as well. And in addition to that, we will also develop the three standards regarding the safety issues regarding the high pressure of the CO2 for the mobile air conditioner sector. This will also accelerate adoption of the CO2 as alternative technologies as a whole industry level in China. And then next slide, I will go to the component, go to the progress of the component one. You can see that so far, we already finalized the design specifications for the prototype of the CO2-based air conditioner system in China. And then for the next step, we will focusing on the design of the prototype at the both component level and also mobile air conditioner sector level, but also the whole car level. Certainly, regarding the output 1.3, actually with the support of VECO and also grants, we also have a lot of consultation meetings with the industry regarding the development of the safety standards. So far, the draft version of the safety standards already available, and we send to the industry and also the public for their feedback and before the finalization and adoption of their safety standards for their CO2-based mobile air conditioner system in China. And then in the next slide, I will give you some introduction regarding the key deliverables of their pilot project in India. It's a similar structure in this under this component. We will design also we will finalize one design specifications for the two prototype. And based on these design specifications, we will develop two prototype. One is for the passenger vehicle in India. Another one is for a small commercial vehicle in India. And then last but not least, we will also develop the guideline for the safe use of the R290 in the mobile air conditioner sector in collaboration with the industry association. And in the next slide, you will see the progress of this component. Yeah. You can see also the design specifications nearly finalized, and we work with the Tata Motor on these design specifications. And based on that, we will develop the two prototype, as mentioned just now. This is still under the development. Regarding the guideline, now we're working with the SIAM, and SIAM is a Society of the India Automotive Association under guideline on the safety use of R290. This is a guideline still under the preparation. Hopefully, this one could be finalized before the end of this. The draft version could be finalized before the end of this year. And regarding the next slide, regarding the component 3, we have done a lot of work on this regarding the capacity building and knowledge sharing. And so we organize one trainings on their best practice in their servicing sector in collaboration with the FACO and also China Automobile Technology and Research Center. And we share those best practice with the key local car industry in China. And also some of their preliminary findings of the project, especially how the two countries selected their hydrocarbon and their alternative technologies in their market sector, were disseminated in their network meeting in South Asia last July. And more than 11 countries and also more than 30 participants, including the national officers, attended this meeting. And also we disseminated their project information also last September in Berlin with their some of the stakeholders in Europe regarding their promotion of the hydrocarbon in India and China, but also potentially other countries. And the next slide, I will give you regarding some of their work plan for this year. You can see this year we will work closely with their China and India, focusing on their development of their prototype of their three hydrocarbon-based air conditioner system, and we will develop their safety standards for their CO2-based mobile air conditioner sector in China, but also we will develop the guideline for the R290-based mobile air conditioner system in India. And continually, we will also develop the training materials and also share the fundings of the project with the other countries. And I just stop here, and I really appreciate the support from the CCAC and also other stakeholders. So I stand ready for any questions you may have. Yeah, thank you very much. I give back the floor to Dennis. Thank you.
Thank you, Yunrui. That's very rich presentation. We will be sharing the slides to everyone that has joined after the meeting, so you can read on each more carefully. We will advance to the next presenter. And Roberto, I think you would like to present from your side. So I invite you now to share your slides and to speak with everyone. So Roberto Borjabat from UNEP Cool Coalition, everybody, to talk about our project on the Middle East and North Africa National Cooling Action Plans project. Go ahead, the floor is yours, Roberto.
Can you see my screen, Denise? Can you confirm you see the presentation?
Yes, I can see it. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you very much, Denise. My name is Roberto Borjabat, and I'm working for UN Environment Program for UNEP. Within the Cool Coalition. I'm going to present today a project that we are implementing in the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa, and the development of national cooling action plans. Before I go into the details of the project, let me just briefly talk about the Cool Coalition. For me, it's the first time I participate in this cooling hub meeting, so I thought it was important to present a little bit about the Cool Coalition. I'm pretty sure many of you know about that, so I'm sorry if this part is known to some of you. I mean, in a cooling hub, I don't think I have to go into the details of why emissions in the cooling sector are going to be increasing over the coming years. But there is several reasons, of course. The rising in global temperatures. There is also reasons because of socioeconomic reasons, and expanding middle class having access to air conditioners, population growth, urban density. There is technical reasons such as low energy efficiency in appliances still being solved in many countries around the world. The electricity generation for this equipment in a number of countries are still reliant on fossil fuels. There is a growing demand as economy develop and food system modernize. There is a growing demand in cold chains, and also still there is a number of high global warming bottles and refrigerants in use. For all these, well, if you look at this graph, which is taken from the UNEP Global Cooling Watch that was published last year, you see that there is a significant growth in the emissions expected from 2022 to 2050, from 4 gigatons of CO2 equivalent to more than 10.5 gigatons, because of the reasons I just presented before. Some of them will be compensated, such as the compliance of the Kigali amendment. Some of them will be compensated as well by business as usual improvement in energy efficiency. But there is here all this green area where there is additional effort needed if we want to work towards the near zero cooling pathway. And this is exactly where the Cool Coalition is working, right? So we are talking about passive cooling. We are talking about low energy cooling, such as fans, best energy efficiency, working on maps and high efficiency equipment, and also work on the rapid decrease of phase down of refrigerant gas with a high volume potential. Then there is this part of grid deceleration, grid decarbonization, in order to reduce the emissions for the energy generation if we want to go towards the net zero cooling pathway. And this is the reason why the Cool Coalition was created back in 2019. Was a very high political support, received a very high political support in order to move from this fragmented approach to a more comprehensive approach on the cooling sector. I mean, the idea was to bring this cooling from the blind spot to the center of the energy and climate discussions. A few years later, back in 2023, was created the Cooling Pledge, in which is the first political commitment of sustainable cooling. It was launched at COP28, and it was endorsed by more than 70 countries. It sets a number of collective targets to reduce the emissions related to cooling by 68% by 2050. And then the countries committed to actions across different areas, like creation of national cooling action plans, to work on minimum energy performance standards in order to improve energy efficiency by at least 50% by 2030. This is, of course, nothing we do on our own. We at the UN Environment have the secretary of the Cool Coalition, but we work with a lot of institutions from the technical arena to we are working with the private sector, the industry associations, finance institutions. Some of these institutions are represented in this call today, so I won't go into more details. And finally, I want to present just a screenshot of where we are working. I mean, the different countries where we are currently having activities, where we are working on including the NDCs, or including cooling into the NDCs, working on maps and creating the national cooling action plans. All right, let me talk now about the project, a specific project that is being supported by the CCAC. And this project is for the development of national cooling action plans to accelerate the shift to climate-friendly cooling in the Middle East and North Africa region. It has three components. The first one is countries in the MENA region have increased capacity to develop NCAPs. That at least 2 countries in the region develop and adopt NCAPs by the end of the project. And the third one, which is national governments have improved skills to implement NCAPs and develop policy to accelerate the shift to climate-friendly. Let me go one by one, just to give you an idea where we are and what are we planning to do in the year ahead. We have finalized a methodology for the development of NCAPs in the region. We had a global methodology that we published last year, and we have developed a contextualized methodology for the MENA region. It has recently been launched. It's still in English only, but it's going to be translated to French and to Arabic in the coming weeks. And one of the questions we get is, why do we need to have a specific methodology for the MENA region? And it's because it has set of particularities, the MENA region, which is different from other parts. And that's extreme heat and cooling demand. The region in the summer often exceeds the 50 degrees, creating the need for sustainable cooling. It's very important. It's different from other parts of the region where we don't reach these high temperatures. Then there are disparities in access to cooling. There are big difference between the urban setting or the low-income rural. There is also different in terms of gender. And there is some developed food and medical cold chains. There is limited technical capacity for managing refrigerants. And also there is a low uptake of energy efficiency, climate-friendly and passive cooling solutions due to different reasons. I won't go into the detail of this slide, but I just want to show you what the methodology looks like. And this is a very detailed step-by-step, the NCAP, where we have several stages and within each stage, several steps, starting from the context mapping, then assessment of the cooling demand per sector, then the integration of all these sectors into cohesive cooling assessment, then the development of their recommendations into an NCAP document, and finally establish an implementation framework. So what is next? How do we get there? So this methodology was presented in a regional event that was held in Cairo, in Egypt, in October, where all 17 MENA countries were invited to participate. It was a training session as well on the different stages, the ones you presented, but very detailed. And this presentation was delivered by the lead author of the methodology. We also had peer-to-peer sessions where the lead countries were presenting their experience. In this case, was Morocco presenting to other countries. Morocco, which is ahead of NCAP development, and also we at the Cool Coalition presented the process to become a global cooling pledge signatory country and what technical system is offered for countries which are signatories. The component 2 is that at least 2 countries in the region develop and adopt NCAPs by the end of the project. I'm a little bit concerned about including the word adopt, because that's something which is not under our control. I mean, we can support countries to develop the NCAP, but the adoption is a very national process. In Morocco, we already started. We are well underway in the NCAP development. We organized the inception meeting back in 2025 in May. This process is being done in collaboration with one of our implementing partners, RICRI, the Regional Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. Several steps of the NCAP have already been finalized. We already received some of them products. And we are working on finalizing, providing comments, and we expect the NCAP to be ready by June 2026. And then we expect to have a presentation workshop to present the NCAP and hopefully to adopt, the country adopted this NCAP in the second half of this year. We are starting work in Djibouti as well. We received a request for technical assistance in developing the NCAP. We're working with the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. This effort is also being done in collaboration with RICRI. We are currently in the process of recruiting the local expert consulting firms that will support this data collection and modeling. And we are planning to have an inception workshop with all the key stakeholders in May 2026 and expect to have the NCAP ready early next year. And then, even if we committed to 2 countries, we are also working on Tunisia to develop an NCAP there, together with the National Agency for Energy Conservation, ANEME. We had a mission back in October where we met with most, if not all, the key stakeholders. There is a strong commitment from, I must say, from the country. And this NCAP will be jointly developed by the African Development Bank and the Cool Coalition. And when it comes to the third and last component, national governments in the MENA region have increased awareness and improved skills to implement NCAPs and develop policies to accelerate the shift to climate-friendly cooling. Regional outreach and engagement, we organize a series of regional webinars to raise awareness among the policymakers. And in fact, we have tomorrow a Cool Talk webinar where we will be presenting the MENA NCAP in more detail, where we have a representative from countries, we have representative from the private sector, and Power will be there. We have representative from development banks. African Development Bank will also be participating. We also organize peer-to-peer learning and exchanges between the countries. such as I mentioned, the Morocco presenting their NCAP and lessons learned during the event in Egypt in 2025 this year. We are developing training material and providing workshop to guide the NCAP implementation and how to integrate that into the national policies and also how to supporting how to include cooling into the NDCs, such as the meeting in Cairo. And also we are planning to have a second regional training workshop in the second half of this year, where hopefully the NCAPs, the countries which have developed the NCAPs, the three that I mentioned, will present to the rest of the country their experience. Last slide, I won't go any longer. What is next? After the NCAP, we would like not to stop there. I mean, once you create the NCAP, it's a very nice document, but then you need to implement that document. And the idea is to work on investment roadmaps, investment assessment. So to make, you know, to make this project, these ideas or these recommendations from the NCAP get into a bankable project. And for that, we work with regional development banks, such as African Development Bank, to move from the NCAP to action. And we intend to work with those countries where, and I mentioned 10 of them there, where we are currently working, or we have already finished the NCAPs. I'll stop there. Denise, if you have any question, I'm of course happy to answer that.
Thank you, Roberto. And indeed, tomorrow the Cool Coalition is organizing a webinar specifically focused on NCAPs, their Cool Talks. So maybe, Roberto, if you can drop in the chat the link on how the colleagues connected can also join in that meeting. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like we have time for discussion, but we can always organize more virtual events later on. So I'd like to actually proceed. We are working in accelerated speed, everyone, no, because of the climate emergency. So even our call is like double acceleration. So I'd like to now go to our next set of presentations, which is also very exciting. As mentioned, it's 10 years of Kigali, and also for Cool Coalition, there is this Cool Champions initiative. So you have these very shiny objects to inspire us to work together and really, you know, accelerate in our actions on sustainable cooling. So I'd like to give the floor to Stephanie from the Ozone Secretariat, who will share with us some of the planned activities and campaigns this year from the Ozone Secretariat as the lead in the 10th anniversary celebration of Kigali. Stephanie, over to you.
Thank you very much, Denise. I'm just sharing in the chat the logo, which you can also see behind me, that has been created specifically for the 10th anniversary of the Kigali Amendment. The logo was launched last week. So this is now live. It will be used throughout the year in the run-up to the MOP in Kigali, which will be the culmination of the commemorative events, the celebration around marking this 10-year anniversary. That said, in the run-up to that, we plan to have a lot of outreach, primarily. Apologies, I hope you can't hear the dog. We plan a lot of outreach through social media, which will incorporate a drive to universal ratification. There will be calls to action utilizing the ministerial statements that we had at our event, our high-level ministerial event at UNEA 7. Last year, there were a number of ministers who came and delivered statements, which we recorded. These will be turned into social media posts, which will go out throughout the year in the run-up to the MOP. All of our social media between now and October will be devoted to pushing for universal ratification and raising awareness around the 10th anniversary of the Kigali Amendment and what can be achieved, particularly if this amendment is fully implemented. To that end, it would be really helpful and incredible if you could all, if you're not already following the Montreal Protocol Ozone Secretariat on our various social media platforms, to follow us. You can find us, our tag is at UNEP Ozone, and you can find our platforms on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, and we're even now on Blue Sky and on Threads. So whenever you see any of our posts with respect to the Kigali Amendment, it would be amazing if you could help amplify, because for the most part, in the run up to the end of the year, we are looking to get universal ratification or as close to it as possible. For the MOP, we do have a number of events planned. We are currently finalizing an anniversary documentary on the Kigali Amendment. This will be sort of around about a 20-minute film, which will be screened at the MOP at a special reception. There is also a planned workshop. We will also look to have a ministerial roundtable. And we'll also be looking to launch the revised and renewed and updated Montreal Protocol Who's Who. For those of you not familiar with that, that's basically, I think, a directory of literally a who's who and anybody that has been involved in the Montreal Protocol, including the Vienna Convention in the run-up to the Montreal Protocol, and stakeholders, ozone stakeholders, up to date. So this is just a bit of a snapshot of what is going on. So do please keep looking into onto our website, our homepage. We'll obviously always have the latest of what we're doing, including any articles or features. For example, yesterday's International Women's Day had a focus on the Kigali Amendment in terms of looking at the last 10 years through the lens of women. So if you haven't seen that, do please check out our social media accounts or go onto our homepage. I actually think one of the guests, somebody online here, was a contributor. So yes, do keep was it Ebola? Please keep a lookout. Be on the lookout for, and we'll keep on posting information. And obviously, in fora like this, we will give you any of the latest updates. But this is just to give you a rough idea of what we're currently doing and what we're planning to be doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. Yeah, that's really exciting, and I'm sure that each organization have their ideas as well. So we're happy to connect, because I think we all have the same intentions and objectives in terms of the celebration. It's to celebrate the success and also to encourage each other for more collaboration for sustainable cooling. Now, another exciting initiative that is being led by the Cool Coalition is the Cool Champions Initiative. So we have Marie-Sophie from the Cool Coalition of UNEP connected. Marie-Sophie, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Denise, and thank you, everyone. Actually, we are a big community here, because Stephanie, that just spoke, is one of our esteemed evaluation committee members for the Cool Coalition Initiative. So thank you very much, Stephanie, for that. And let me give you a quick overview of what this is and how you can help us spread the word. So this is a recognition engine, basically. We're trying to get sustainable cooling more visible outside the policy circles, but also in policy circles that are not so well tied to climate. We want to have 3 cool champions each year. This is our inaugural year. We're going to have 1 city or country from the developing world, 1 city or country from the developed world, and one individual cool champion that is not affiliated with institutions whatsoever. So our nominations are now open. You can nominate or self-nominate. I will share with you the links in the chat. And the deadline is 31st of March. Then our 7-member evaluation committee will start deliberations. This is a very transparent process, and the committee is comprised of members that are not necessarily just from the UN, but also academia, government, civil society. And then we're going to announce the cool champions on World Environment Day. This is June 5th. And throughout the year, we expect them to help us with making cooling more visible, but also having some high-level engagements, peer learning visits, and actually getting more countries to be part of coalitions such as ours and really act on accelerating sustainable cooling. What we need from you is to spread the word and to nominate your own cool champions. And with that, I'm also sharing the links in the chat. And for the interest of time, I have 5 minutes left.
Thank you, Mary Sophie. Actually, that allows us for any additional comments or points or messages from any of our participants or our speakers. Actually, we have 3 minutes. If anyone would like to speak, you are welcome. Okay, none from our audience, but from our speakers, is there any additional point? Because I know that yeah, maybe Yunirui was having a chat with Cambodia about, the possibility of, sharing beyond the 2 countries. Go ahead, Yunirui, if you can share that.
Thank you, Dennis. Actually, we just want to say UNIDO, the whole team is ready to provide technical support as required from the Cambodia. And we are really happy to support the country for the servicing sector in their MAC, but also other sectors as well. Thank you very much.
And Yunirui, would you like to say a quick word about the events in Vienna in April?
Yes, thank you very much, Dennis, giving me this opportunity. Yes, UNIDO will organize a Sustainable Cooling Forum on 8th to 10th in Vienna. And we really appreciate that the participants who already would like to join these most important annual events for their multi-political team in UNIDO. And so we are looking forward to see you in Vienna this year. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Yunrui. And just to emphasize again, the CCAC is having its annual meeting of partners during the week of May 18th to 22 in Mexico City. More information is in our website. But if you want to learn more, you can also connect with me directly. It will be not just on HFCs and cooling, but really the whole big family of super pollutant mitigation. So we hope to see some of you there and yeah, in our future events and meetings in the CCAC. So I'll give you everyone 1 extra minute before your next meeting. Have a nice rest of your day and your week. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Bye.
You bye.